Assalamu alaikum all. I hope you are doing well. We got a really good start for the string of economic data points that we're going to get this week. And that good start was represented by the PPI numbers that came out today, the producer price index, which measures wholesale inflation, increased just 0.2% in December, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Economists polled by Dow Jones had estimated a zero point 0.4 rise. Now, core PPI, which excludes food and energy, was flat. So we're waiting. So that was a good start. And we're waiting for the Consumer Price Index report, which will come out tomorrow. So from a producer standpoint, their numbers are looking good. And typically, the prices that they pay are passed on to consumers. So they can be a leading indicator with regards to the consumer price index. So hopefully all goes well tomorrow. The Dow Jones was up 0.52%, Nasdaq was down 0.13%, the S&P was up 0.11%, and the Russell was up more than 1% today. We also got some good news with the dollar index falling a bit today. The VIX was also falling today, but the US 10-year yield continues to be stubbornly high. We're not getting any relief on that number as of yet. Tesla had a really interesting day today. It started off very strong on a report that the EV market was doing well, growing well. We'll talk about that in detail in a second. But then, towards close of the market, we got this report that maybe Elon Musk is going to buy TikTok. So in details, we got shares jumped as much as 3% on Tuesday before turning red at the time of writing after strong global EV sales data and reports that Chinese officials might allow Elon Musk to buy TikTok's US operations. The potential sale by ByteDance, TikTok's parent company, would help the platform avoid a US ban ahead of a looming divestiture deadline. However, a TikTok spokesperson dismissed the reports as pure fiction. So who knows what is true? Now, interestingly, I do think that the report that came out this morning was quite good. So for Tesla, its initial boost coincided with a report showing that global EV and plug-in hybrid sales climbed 25.6% year over year to 1.9 million units in December. So all those people who are saying, the EV thing was a bubble, it's over. No, you're wrong. Despite a slowdown in recent months. Overall, 2024 was a record-breaking year with 17.1 million units sold. As I've always said on this channel, the future is electric. The future of transportation is electric, and it is autonomous. And no one does both those things together quite as good as Tesla. All right. BitDeer today was up a nice 11%, and Iris Energy was up 5%. BitDeer continues to do 90 in a school zone whenever it decides to. So very interesting to watch that stock. Very interesting to be a holder of that stock. And going to BTC, Bitcoin, we did get a dip yesterday. We were, we bottomed out close to 90,000. Now we're at 96,000. So we got a quick reversal, quick V-shaped recovery for Bitcoin. Dogecoin is up close to 6% in the last 24 hours at 35 cents, close to 36 cents, and Solana is at 188. Now, if we get the Sol ETF approved, on January 25th, that number could go way higher, as we'll talk about in a second. I do want to share this, which made my day. Someone in our community, Abdul Majid, posted this in our Discord. He mentions, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Wa alaikum salam, Abdul Majid. Alhamdulillah for everything, always. I joined PIF April 2024 and started investing since then. I just wanted to express my heartfelt gratitude for your amazing support and guidance. As someone completely new to the stock market with limited knowledge, achieving a 65% return on my investment feels truly incredible. And it's all thanks to your expert stock recommendations, detailed technical analysis, and invaluable portfolio insights you shared. Your live video and guidance not only made the process clear, but also gave me the confidence to take this step. I couldn't have achieved this without your dedication and expertise, and I'm genuinely grateful for the effort you put in to helping beginners like me succeed. Looking forward to learning more from you and continuing this journey together. Thank you so much. Once again, Jazakallah khair. Wa yakum Abdul Majid, I have to say, thank you so much for taking the time to write this. It really made my day. So thank you. All right, so going to Raoul Paul, he had a very a mimetic image on socials recently, wherein he compared the M2 and price of Bitcoin, so the money supply, global money supply, and the price of Bitcoin. And it's clear that Bitcoin does follow M2 with a lag. And recently, we've gotten a pretty downward trajectory in M2. And therefore, are we going to get a big dip in Bitcoin? It's possible. He also points out, though, in another chart, that we did get something similar in the 2016 cycle, wherein we saw M2 falling and Bitcoin followed. But then the global supply took the other direction, and we ended up closing much higher on the price of Bitcoin. And so perhaps, what we've seen is the pullback that was associated with the M2 decline. So perhaps we've bottomed. Perhaps there's more to go to follow the M2's decline. But it's if the cycle repeats, it's very likely that M2 changes direction and we get a rebound in Bitcoin. Now, what we need for this to happen is for rates to go down. So tomorrow's number will be very important in terms of determining when rates go down. And it would be nice to get some weakness in the dollar as well, because that's going to help risk assets, Bitcoin being one of them. All right, so speaking of Bitcoin specifically, crypto generally, we do have a lot to look forward to with the new administration that will be sworn in days from now, January 20th. So Trump's transition team have been working closely with crypto leaders to finalize a legislative strategy, and Trump is expected to issue executive orders on the first day of his presidency that may address issues including debanking and the repeal of a controversial crypto accounting policy requiring banks holding digital assets to count them as liabilities on their balance sheets. So that would be very catalytic for markets if we get some executive orders that are pro-crypto on its first day. So something to look forward to. In other news, January 25th, as I mentioned, there's going to be some decisions made by the SEC on some applications regarding Solana ETFs, and also there are XRP ETFs that are under consideration as well. JP Morgan reports that Solana and XRP ETFs could attract 3 to 6 billion in Solana and 4 to 8 billion in XRP in net new assets if they are approved. Now, when you're looking at that number, 3 to 6 billion, the market cap of Solana is, I think, close to 100 billion. you may say, oh, well, that's not a lot. But when you always have to understand that this is 3 to 6 billion in new buying pressure. So you have to compare that with the selling pressure. Not everyone holding Solana is going to be selling. And therefore, there is a multiplier that you have to apply to inflows of money to figure out how that impacts the price. And the multiplier, I think a reasonable multiplier could be anything from 15 to 40 for the inflows on something like Solana and its impact on the price of Solana. So on the low end, a 15 multiplier would suggest a $45 billion increase in the market cap of Solana if only 3 billion were to flow in to the Solana ETFs. So a big catalyst there if it turns out to be true. Now, the Ethereum ETFs turned out to be quite underwhelming for the price of Ethereum, but that's only because that asset stinks, as you very well know. Now, in some uplifting news, small business optimism is bouncing back in a big way. This is according to ARK's monthly Bitcoin newsletter or update. So, as measured by the National Federation of Independent Business, small business optimism in 2024 plummeted to levels not seen since 2008 and 2009. After the election in November, it rebounded in a big way. That's that line going northward here. And so there's a lot of hope with this new administration. If we get the right legislation, the right moves by this new administration, things could look very good in the economy. So we will look out for that. Going to questions. Muhammad, nice to see you. Alaikum salam. Rashad, nice to see you. Alaikum salam. Malik says, Salam alaikum. Alaikum salam. Do you see Bitcoin hitting the 70, 80K mark? I've seen analysts like Tom Lee say it might even go down to 50. Hard to guess, but do you see a dip in the future? I think it's possible. It's very hard to, predict the near term, as I always say. But if you zoom out, the general direction is upwards. I would say dollar cost average, taking advantage of red days. And I think that's a good policy. Like, play the cards that you're dealt. Whether or not there's more of a dip here, it's possible. If you look at the dip that we've experienced so far in Bitcoin and you compare it on a percentage basis to previous cycles and what we've experienced in them, it really is nothing. We really haven't had that strong of a dip at all in Bitcoin. So, we're up here. We're talking about this little blip here. If you look at the volatility of Bitcoin, it's historically on a percentage basis. So what we've experienced right now is child's play. So could we get a bigger dip? It's possible. I will share this, though. I think it's interesting. The volatility of Bitcoin does seem to be mellowing out over time. So you can see the realized volatility on a 1-year rolling basis. That's in the purple here. And you can see that it is falling with time, year over year. And this realized monthly volatility, that's the bright green, that's also falling. And so this should attract, this attribute of Bitcoin should attract more investors to the asset, investors that perhaps couldn't stomach previous levels of volatility, but now can. Rashad says, I hope Trump will not have the executive order on day one. BTC will crash to 50K, will buy the dip, and then he will issue the order the following week. Yeah. Yeah, so I like where your head is at, Rashad. All dips are opportunities, so do take advantage. And like I said in the email I sent on Sunday, good to have some cash on the side just in case something like that transpires. Anything new on lithium? No, not really. Although I do think that things are looking. I think if you take the EV report into consideration and the pickup in sales, things are looking pretty good for that commodity. Amir Labib says, Salaam alaikum, Rakaan. What are your thoughts on FTNT? Perhaps I will take a look at it on Discord. We took a look at a lot of stocks on Discord today. Check them out. Join the discussion. If you're not a PIF member, become a PIF member. The link to do so is in the description. Like this live if you liked it. If you didn't like it, don't like it. But if you liked the live, then do like it. If you found it beneficial, then do like it. I would really appreciate that. Until next time, make sure to take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum and peace be upon you all.